Drought and famine have been problems in Malawi and all over Africa for centuries. In Malawi, approximately 90% of the population survives by subsistence farming. Even in good conditions, the food supply is merely adequate, not abundant. But in poor conditions, the food supply can become non-existent. In the arid climate of southern Malawi, rain brings life, but no rain brings starvation. In 2002, a devastating famine occurred which resulted in hundreds of deaths. It was during that time that Advent Christian General Conference began sending humanitarian aid to the country in the form of food. In the years since, the effects of droughts have continued and worsened by numerous factors, including the AIDS pandemic, poor response from government, and flooding. The threat of famine continues to be a critical problem for the people of Malawi. Since 2002, ACGC has had the privilege of showing the compassion and love of Christ to those who hunger by sending humanitarian aid on multiple occasions. Ruth is one of many people who were helped. My family has received food 6 times over the last several years because our land has been greatly affected by famine. When we have drought and famine, we cannot grow enough food to eat, so we need help. The maize we have received during these times has allowed us to survive. I am so thankful to God for providing this help in our times of great need. Zuze, a husband and father of 6, shares his story. I used to be a drunkard and a bad man, but when I accepted Jesus, I repented and started living a better life. I have a wife and 6 children that I provide for as a farmer, and it's very hard work. Although I work hard, famine can still come when there is no rain. But now I have seen God answer our prayers for food by providing maize from our brothers in America. Entire generations have been saved through ACGC's humanitarian efforts in Malawi. They have been saved physically as their need for food was met, and many have been saved spiritually as their spiritual needs have been met by Jesus. Drought and famine consistently threaten the people of Malawi, but our brothers and sisters there now know that they are not alone in this struggle, and there is hope. Drought and famine have always been problems here, so we must continue to pray and rely on God to provide for our needs. Prayer is the great answer to our problem. Since 2002, Advent Christian General Conference has invested more than $70,000 in humanitarian aid to Malawi. These acts of compassion have resulted in saved lives, praise to God, and thankfulness to everyone who made the gifts possible. It's hard to express my thankfulness to those who have given so much so that we can have enough food to eat. I can only say that I pray for God's continual blessing upon them. When God's people serve with acts of generosity and compassion, even a barren land becomes fertile ground, which produces an abundant harvest.